You want to be successful? You want to achieve greatness? Then listen up, because success isn't about luck. It's about mindset. It's about work. It's about commitment. You have to create these 10 signs within yourself, because if you don't, someone else will. And in 2025, you're either going to be ahead of the pack or left behind. You say you want to be great, but do you really understand what that means? Everybody talks about success, but very few are actually willing to pay the price. And let me be real with you. There is a price. It's called sacrifice, pain, and relentless work. See, most people aren't willing to wake up at 4 a.m. to train. Most people aren't willing to stay in the gym until midnight after a game. Most people aren't willing to push past their comfort zone, and that's exactly why most people never reach greatness. Let me tell you something. Talent doesn't mean a damn thing without work. People always talked about my talent, but what they didn't see was the grind behind it. I wasn't the most athletic, I wasn't the fastest, but I worked like my life depended on it. When I got to the NBA, I saw guys relying on their talent, thinking they didn't have to train hard. Meanwhile, I was out working everyone every single day. You think I was in a gym at 4 a.m. because it was fun? No, I was there because I knew someone else wasn't. And when game time came, they were tired, I wasn't. They doubted themselves, I didn't. Most people want to be successful until it gets hard. They love the idea of greatness, but when it's time to put in the work, when it's time to wake up early, to stay late, to push through exhaustion, to make sacrifices, most people quit. That's the difference between winners and everyone else. You need to ask yourself, are you doing everything you possibly can to get better? If the answer is no, then you have work to do. The truth is, most people don't push themselves to the limit because they're scared. Scared of failing, scared of exhaustion, scared of stepping into the unknown. But I'll tell you right now, you should be more scared of staying the same. If you want to be successful in 2025, you need to outwork everyone around you. You need to be the one who does more reps, studies longer, grinds harder, and sacrifices more. Success is built on consistency. The work you put in today, tomorrow, next month, it all adds up. When your competition is sleeping, you're working. When they're partying, you're grinding. When they're making excuses, you're making progress. Here's the real question. Are you willing to suffer for success? Because success demands suffering. It demands you to give up the easy path and choose the one filled with obstacles, sweat, and exhaustion. That's why most people never reach it. I want you to commit right now. Starting today, you will work harder than you ever have before. No more excuses. No more half efforts. When you wake up in the morning, attack your goals like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. This is the Mamba mentality. Work like your future depends on it, because it does. You say you want to be great, you say you want success, but do your actions match your words? Because let me tell you something, success doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're unmotivated, or if you don't feel like putting in the work. The difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't talent, it's discipline. Let me ask you a simple question. Can you stay committed to your goals even when you don't feel like it? That's what separates winners from everyone else. I didn't become one of the greatest because I relied on motivation. No. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. But discipline is what makes you unstoppable. You think I wanted to wake up at 4 a.m. every day? You think I wanted to shoot 1,000 jump shots after a brutal game? Hell no. But I did it anyway because I made a promise to myself I would do whatever it takes to be the best, no excuses, no shortcuts. That's what discipline is. It's the ability to show up every single day, no matter how you feel. It's the ability to tell yourself, this is what I need to do and I'm gonna do it, no matter what. Most people fail because they let their emotions control their actions. They wait until they're in the mood to work. But let me tell you something. The mood doesn't matter. The work matters. This discipline is built in the moments when you don't feel like it. When the alarm clock goes off at 5 a.m. and you want to hit snooze. But but you get up anyway. When your friends are out partying, but you stay in and work on your craft. When you're exhausted and your body is screaming at you to stop, but you push through. That's discipline. That's what separates the best from the rest. Let me put it like this. If you only work hard when you feel like it, you'll never be great. Champions don't let their feelings dictate their actions. They show up every day, rain or shine, tired or energized, motivated or not, because that's what it takes. People always ask me, Kobe, what's the secret? And I tell them, there is no secret. It's just the work. The work you put in when no one is watching, the hours you invest when nobody is there to cheer you on. Let me give you an example. When I was in high school, I would practice without a ball. Yeah, you heard me right. Without a ball, I would go through my footwork, my shooting form, my moves over and over again. Why? Because I wanted my game to be so polished, so sharp, that by the time I stepped onto the court, I already won the battle. That's discipline. That's the level of commitment it takes. In 2025, distractions are going to be everywhere. Social media, entertainment, people telling you to take it easy, but you have to be stronger than that. You have to lock in. If you want to be successful, you need to make discipline a non-negotiable part of your life. Make a decision right now. From this moment forward, I will be disciplined. I will commit to my goals. I will not let emotions or distractions stop me. Because let me tell you something, when you master discipline, you become unstoppable. This is the Mamba mentality. Stay locked in, no excuses, just results. Fear is the one thing that stops most people from reaching their full potential. Fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of pain, fear of not being good enough. But let me tell you something, fear is an illusion. It's only as powerful as you allow it to be. If you want to achieve greatness, you need to stop running from fear and start attacking it head on. Most people let fear control them. They hesitate, they second guess themselves, they play it safe because they don't want to fail. But you know what's worse than failure? Regret. Regret of not trying, regret of not giving everything you had, regret of playing small when you had the potential to be great. I never feared failure, not because I thought I would never fail, but because I understood that failure is part of success. Every missed shot, every bad game, every mistake, it was all part of the journey. I never let the fear of missing stop me from taking the shot. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So why not take them all? Fear is just your mind trying to protect you. But greatness lives outside of comfort. The moment you step beyond your fear is the moment you start becoming unstoppable. Too many people hold themselves back because they're afraid of being judged. They're afraid of looking stupid. But let me tell you something. Nobody who is doing more than you will ever judge you. The only people who criticize are the ones too afraid to take risks themselves. I remember when I was 18, stepping into the NBA, playing with grown men who had been in the league for years. People doubted me. They said I was too young, too inexperienced, not ready. But I didn't care. I focused on my work. I knew my preparation. I trusted my grind. And, that's all that mattered. You can't be great if you play it safe. You have to take risks. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. You have to push yourself beyond your limits, because that's how you grow. When I took those air balls in the playoffs against Utah as a rookie, I could have let fear consume me. I could have stopped shooting, but instead I used that failure as fuel. That summer, I worked harder than ever before, and when I came back, I was a different player. The lesson? Fail loudly, fail big, fail often, but never let failure define you. The best way to kill fear, take action. Fear grows when you hesitate, when you overthink, when you let doubt creep in. But the moment you step forward, the moment you take that first step, fear starts to shrink. If you're scared to speak up, speak anyway. If you're scared to chase your dream, chase it anyway. Because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting in spite of it. You say you want to be great, you say you want success, but let me ask you this, are you obsessed with getting better every single day? because that's the difference between good and legendary. Most people work hard until they reach a certain level, and then they stop. They get comfortable, they think, I made it. But the truly great ones, they never stop improving. They're obsessed with becoming better than they were yesterday. When I was in the league, people thought I was crazy for how much I trained. They didn't understand why I kept pushing myself when I was already at the top. But that's exactly why I stayed at the top, because I never settled. I never told myself I'm good enough. I always believed there was another level to reach. If you're satisfied with where you are, you've already lost. The moment you think you've made it is the moment someone hungrier than you starts catching up. I always studied my game. After every game, I watched film, not to admire what I did well, but to analyze every mistake, every missed shot, every bad decision, every defensive breakdown. I broke it all down because I wanted to correct every weakness. That's how you improve, by being brutally honest with yourself. You think greatness happens by accident? No, it's built on an insane level of work. I would wake up at 4 a.m. to train, not because I had to, but because I knew my competition wasn't doing it. If they trained twice a day, I trained 4 times a day. If they put in 3 hours, I put in 6. I wasn't competing with them, I was competing with myself. Are you outworking everyone around you? If not, you have more to give. I didn't just play basketball, I studied it like I watched film of the greatest players before me, Jordan, Magic, Bird. I analyzed their footwork, their decision making, their mentality. If you want to be great in your field, you have to study it like an obsession. Read books, watch the best, break down what makes them successful, and then apply it to your own journey. Whatever your craft is, learn it inside and out. Know the history, understand the strategies, master the fundamentals, become a student of the game. Most people train until they're tired. I train past exhaustion. You have to be willing to suffer for success. When my body told me to stop, I told it to keep going. When my mind said that's enough, I told it one more. That's the mentality you need. You have to push past the point where others quit. Success isn't about what you do when it's easy, it's about what you do when it's hard. Success isn't about just working hard, it's about working smart. It's about locking in, cutting out distractions, and being so focused on your goals that nothing can shake you. Most people fail not because they aren't talented, not because they don't have potential, but because they're too distracted. They let outside noise pull them away from their mission. They scroll through social media for hours. They waste time on things that don't push them forward. And then they wonder why they aren't making progress. Let me tell you something. You will never achieve greatness if you allow distractions to control you. When I was in the league, I didn't have time for nonsense. I wasn't out partying. I wasn't wasting energy on things that didn't matter. My mind was locked in on one thing: winning. If it didn't help me get better, I didn't give it my attention. At the level of focus you need to be ruthless about protecting your time and energy. What do you want? What's your goal? You need to be crystal clear about your mission. When I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be the best basketball player in the world. That clarity shaped every decision I made. If something didn't align with my goal, I cut it out. Simple as that. What is your mission, and are your daily actions helping you get there? If not, it's time to refocus. The world is full of distractions: social media, TV, negativity, other people's opinion. If you're not careful, these things will steal your time, your energy, and your focus. You need to be intentional about what you allow into your life. Social media, use it wisely or cut it down. Toxic people, distance yourself. Wasting time on things that don't matter, stop it. The greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders all have one thing in common: they control their environment. They don't let distractions pull them off course. In the biggest moments of my career, NBA Finals, Game 7, down by 2 with seconds left, I never let pressure shake me. Why? Because I trained my mind for those moments. Meditation, visualization, breathing techniques, these things matter. If you want to be focused when it counts, you have to train for it every single day. Before every game, I would sit in silence and visualize the shots I was going to take. I would feel the pressure, hear the crowd, and mentally prepare myself for success. Start your day without distractions. No phone, no noise, just you and your goals. Set time blocks to work without interruptions. Learn to focus on one task at a time. Multitasking is a lie. One of the biggest keys to focus, saying no. When you're locked in, people are trying to pull you away. They'll invite you out. They'll tell you to relax. They'll say, you're working too hard. Ignore them. They don't see your vision. I miss parties. I skip vacations. I turned down opportunities that didn't align with my goals. Why? Because I knew what I wanted, and I wasn't going to let anything stop me. Discipline is saying no to what doesn't matter so you can say yes to greatness. Pain is the ultimate test. It separates the ones who say they want it from the ones who actually do. The truth is, everybody wants to be successful until they feel pain. That's when most people quit. That's when they start making excuses. But if you want to be great, you have to be mentally tough. You have to push through the pain, the fatigue, the doubt, and the setbacks. Let me be real with you. Success will hurt. There will be times when your body is exhausted, when your mind is telling you to stop, when the journey feels impossible, but those are the moments that define you. Will you give up or will you keep going? Let me tell you something. I played through broken fingers, torn ligaments, and injuries that would have sidelined most players for weeks. Why? Because I refused to let pain control me. I refused to let anything stand between me and my goal. Most people try to avoid pain. They run from discomfort. But the ones who succeed, they lean into it. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is proof that you're growing. Every time you push past your limits, every time you refuse to quit, you get stronger. When I was younger, I used to wake up at 4 a.m. to train. It sucked. My body ached. I was tired, but I kept doing it because I knew if I could push through the pain in training, I could push through anything in a game. Ask yourself, are you running from pain or are you using it to make you stronger? Your body will always try to quit before you're truly done. But your mind is the real battlefield. When you feel exhausted, when you feel like giving up, you have to take control of your thoughts. You have to convince yourself to keep going. I used to tell myself, just one more sprint, one more shot, one more rep. And every time I did that, I pushed myself further than I thought was possible. You have to do the same thing. When your mind tells you to stop, tell it to shut up. Keep going. Mental toughness isn't just about pushing through physical pain. It's also about how you handle failure. You missed a shot. Next play, you made a mistake. Next play, you lost today. Next play, you can't let failures break you. I've missed more game-winning shots than I can count, but I never let a miss stop me from taking the next one because champions don't dwell on mistakes, they move forward. Learn from your failures, but don't let them define you. Keep attacking. It's easy to push hard when the lights are on and the crowd is cheering. But what about when you're alone? When no one is watching? That's where mental toughness is built. When I was injured, I didn't sit around feeling sorry for myself. I found ways to train. When I tore my Achilles, I still shot my free throws before walking off the court because my mind was stronger than my pain. Mental toughness is doing what needs to be done even when nobody's holding you accountable, even when you don't feel like it. Let me tell you something. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I've seen guys with all the talent in the world fade away because they weren't willing to put in the work. And I've seen players who weren't the most gifted become great because they were relentless. The question is, how bad do you really want it? Everyone says they want to be successful, but few are willing to sacrifice for it. Are you willing to wake up before everyone else? Are you willing to stay after when everyone has left? Are you willing to push through exhaustion when your body is telling you to stop? Because that's what it takes. The ones who work the hardest are the ones who rise to the top. I was never the most athletic guy. I wasn't the tallest, I wasn't the fastest, But what I had was an obsession with outworking everyone. I knew that if I put in more hours, if I worked on my weaknesses, if I studied my game harder than anyone else, I would win. And I did. If you're doing the same amount of work as everyone else, how do you expect to be better than them? You can't. When I was in the league, guys would come in for their regular workouts, 2 hours, maybe 3. That wasn't enough for me. I needed more. So I started waking up at 4 a.m. to train. That way, by the time my competition woke up, I had already put in 3 hours of work. I wasn't just working hard, I was working harder than everyone else. Ask yourself, am I really outworking my competition, or am I just doing enough to get by? People say they don't have enough time. That's an excuse. The truth is, you have time, you're just not using it wisely. Every minute of my day was scheduled. If I wasn't training, I was studying film. If I wasn't studying film, I was recovering. Every decision I made was centered around getting better. You have 24 hours. How are you using them? Do you wake up early or do you sleep in? Do you train with focus or do you just go through the motions? Do you study your craft or do you waste time on things that don't matter? The great ones maximize every second, let me be honest. If you don't love the process, you'll never last. Everyone loves the idea of success, the trophies, the recognition, the rewards, but most people don't love the work that it takes to get there, and that's why they fail. I didn't train because I had to. I trained because I loved it. I loved the sweat, the pain, the hours in the gym, the challenge of pushing my body past its limits. That's why I kept going when others quit. If you don't love the grind, you'll never survive it. True work ethic isn't about showing off. It's not about looking good for social media. It's about what you do when nobody is watching. I didn't train to impress people. I didn't post videos of my workouts. I just worked because I wasn't chasing likes. I was chasing greatness. Too many people only work hard when there's an audience, but real work is done in the dark. Are you putting in the extra reps when nobody is watching? Or are you just doing enough to look good? Discipline is the foundation of success. It's not about talent, luck, or even motivation. It's about the ability to show up every single day and do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline is what separates the great from the average. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the discipline to work consistently, that talent will go to waste. Most people think success comes from big moments, game-winning shots, career-changing opportunities, moments of inspiration, but that's not the truth. Success is built on the small things, the habits, the routines, and the tiny details that most people overlook. The way you do the little things is the way you do everything. If you cut corners in practice, you'll cut corners in the game. If you slack off in training, you'll fall short when it matters most. When I was in the league, I wasn't just focused on the flashy moves or the highlight plays. I obsessed over the fundamentals. I spent hours perfecting my footwork, my free throws, my defense, my conditioning. I knew that mastering the basics would give me an edge over my competition. Most players focused on talent. I focused on discipline. The difference between good and great is consistency. Anyone can work hard for a day. Anyone can be motivated for a week. But discipline means showing up every day, year after year, without excuses. There were nights when I didn't feel like training, mornings when my body ached, times when I wanted to rest, but I didn't let my feelings control me. I let my discipline lead me. That's what you need to understand. You will not always feel motivated. You will not always want to work, but discipline doesn't care about feelings. It's about commitment. Are you committed to your goals, or are you only working hard when it's convenient? Most people fail not because they aren't talented, but because they lack the discipline to stay consistent. They get excited in the beginning, but when the hard work gets boring, these champions don't stop. Think about the greatest in any field: Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, Tom Brady. What do they all have in common? Discipline. They train harder, prepare better, and stay more consistent than anyone else. That's why they're the best. If you want to be great, you have to train your discipline like a muscle. Start small, wake up earlier, stick to a schedule, push yourself when nobody's watching, build habits that will carry you forward, and don't let emotions dictate your actions. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Master the small things, and the big things will take care of themselves. That's the Mamba mentality. If there's one thing I learned in my career, is that nothing stays the same. The game changes, the competition gets stronger, and new challenges come your way when you least expect them. If you're not willing to adapt, you'll get left behind. Adaptability is a skill that separates the good from the great. It's the ability to adjust your approach, evolve your mindset, and overcome any obstacle in your way. A lot of people resist change. They get comfortable with what worked in the past and assume it will always work. But that's a mistake. The great ones don't fight change, they embrace it. They see challenges as opportunities to grow. When I first came into the league, I relied on my athleticism. I was quicker, faster, and could jump higher than most of my opponents. But as I got older, I knew that I couldn't play the same way forever. My body wasn't as explosive as it once was, and if I wanted to stay at the top, I had to adjust my game. So I evolved. I studied film more. I developed a post-up game. I mastered the fadeaway jumper, and I became one of the most complete players in the history of basketball. That's adaptability. Think about the greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders in the world. They all have one thing in common. They know how to adjust and conquer. Michael Jordan transformed his game when defenses got tougher. Tom Brady adjusted his playing style as he aged but remained dominant. Steve Jobs reinvented Apple multiple times to stay ahead of the competition. If they had refused to adapt, they would have faded away like so many others. Most people fear change because it's uncomfortable, but discomfort is where growth happens. Every time you face a challenge, you have two choices: complain about it or adjust and overcome it. Champions don't make excuses, they find solutions. The moment you think you know everything, you've already lost. Stay curious, stay humble, and always be learning. Watch, listen, and study those who are ahead of you. I spent hours watching game film, breaking down my weaknesses and figuring out ways to improve. No matter how good you are, there's always another level. If you only have one way to succeed, you're vulnerable. The best players in any field have multiple weapons. I didn't just rely on my scoring, I developed my defense, my passing, and my leadership. Expand your skill set so that when one door closes, another one opens. Most people see obstacles as roadblocks. I saw them as tests. Every challenge was a chance to prove myself, to grow, and to get stronger. If you want to be successful, stop fearing challenges, start attacking them. There's a difference between being good and being unstoppable. A difference between playing to win and playing so that your opponent has no chance. That difference is killer instinct. It's that fire, that mindset, that relentless hunger to completely dominate. Most people want to win, but very few are willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. Killer instinct is what separates champions from everyone else. Let me be clear, killer instinct isn't about talent. It's not about having the best skills or the best opportunities. It's about having the mentality that you will not be denied. When the game is on the line, when the pressure is at its peak, when everything's on the line, do you rise up or do you hesitate? That's the real question. Let me take you back to one of the most defining moments of my career, Game 7 of the 2010 NBA Finals against the Celtics. Everything was on the line. The game was ugly, physical, brutal. I wasn't having my best shooting night, but that didn't matter. I refused to let us lose. I fought for every rebound, played suffocating defense, willed my team to the championship, because that's what killer instinct is. It's the refusal to let anything stop you. The greatest players, the greatest leaders, the greatest winners in history all have one thing in common. They do not hesitate. When it's time to step up, they step up. When others fold under pressure, they come alive. Michael Jordan wasn't afraid to take the last shot. Even after missing, Serena Williams never backed down, no matter how tough the match got. Kobe Bryant, I wanted the ball in my hands with the game on the line. Every single time. The biggest moments separate the great from the average. When the spotlight is on, do you run from it or embrace it? If you want to be great, you have to be willing to take the shot, to step up, to put everything on your shoulders and say, I got this. Killer instinct isn't about arrogance. It's about refusing to accept anything less than greatness. It's not just wanting to win, it's needing to win. It's treating every practice, every meeting, every moment like it's life or death. If you don't demand greatness from yourself, no one else will. You can respect your opponents, but never let them think they have a chance. When I played, I wasn't just trying to win. I was trying to break my opponent's will. I wanted them to feel defeated before the game was even over. That's what the greats do. They don't just win, they leave no doubt. Success isn't for the weak. It's not for those who wait, hesitate, or hope for things to happen. It's for those who take control, outwork everyone, and refuse to be denied. These 10 signs aren't just lessons, they're a way of life. If you truly embrace them, if you live with relentless discipline, adaptability, and killer instinct, there's nothing you can't achieve. But remember this, greatness is a decision. Every day you have a choice. Will you stay the same or will you rise? Will you settle or will you push beyond your limits? Will you be average or will you be legendary? The Mamba mentality isn't about being better than others. It's about being better than you were yesterday. It's about never making excuses, never backing down, and never being satisfied. You have everything you need inside you. Now it's time to prove it. So go out there, work harder than everyone else, demand more from yourself, chase your greatness, and when the world doubts you, when obstacles stand in your way, when pressure is at its highest, look them in the eye and say, I am built for this. Mamba forever.